I think trade selection is probably one of the most difficult aspects of trading. And I don't mean just finding a trade. I mean, looking amongst multiple pairs and multiple time frames in order to find that one trade that you actually want to put your dollars behind. That's probably the most difficult aspect, because at any given time, if you've got an effective strategy, if you understand market cycles, if you understand how to base your entry decision upon the direction that a particular market is going, time frame even specific, then you're probably going to have, very likely, multiple entries, right? You have multiple entry opportunities. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that all of them are equal. In some way, we need a methodology, to have a hierarchy, to have a way to list these potential trades, these setups, and say, okay, if this one happens, I want to take it. If this one happens, I'm not so crazy about it, etc. And also, secondarily, that approach will also dictate to a certain degree your position size. Let's also consider that when you find a really great trade, let's just take a look at the market, and we'll discuss this as we go through it. But when you find a really great trade, or a really great setup that could become a trade, the better all the little factors are, the stronger all those little factors are that led you to want to take that trade, set up a swing or a Momo or a wave reversal or an inside the range, whatever it may be, whether it be a chart pattern, whatever. All the little factors that led you into feeling that this is a good setup, when they're really strong, you'll probably want to say to yourself, I wouldn't mind increasing my position size. This is a great trade based upon 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, versus a great trade based upon 1, 2, 3. Whatever those factors are. So there are certain things that we'll see in the chart that increase our confidence. There are certain events on the economic calendar which may, in turn, alternatively, actually, make us want to have a smaller position size because of volatility, impending volatility. So I don't want you thinking of triage, which is trade selection. Again, if you go back to where the word triage comes from, it comes from trier, which is French, and it means to sort. That's what you're doing, or sorting, or prioritizing. And without some sort of prioritization, what I find traders unfortunately do is they do one of two things. They take simply the trade that comes first, which is not necessarily bad. They understand the proximity angle. They simply take the trade that comes first. Or worse, this is the bigger problem, they take all that's left. In other words, once they scan everything, there might have been better trades that have already triggered. And sometimes we miss trades. That's the function of being in this 24-hour world, most especially the 24-hour market of Forex. But what's worse is when they don't have this process of triage, of this prioritization, they end up taking simply all that remains, which is probably the runt in the litter, right? The weakest in this bunch. Not that runts aren't great. I've had runts before. I've had puppies that are runts. And they have plenty of character, but I'm not necessarily looking for character when I'm taking a trade. Yes? Okay. So let's go through the markets here. Let's talk about what's happening right now. That means we're going to focus on the market pulse. So let's take a look at what's going on there.